Games Workshop is retiring a bunch of Firstborn Space Marines. We have Assassins joining the fray in Chaos Gate Daemonhunter, and of course we're going to take a look at some new miniatures. All this and more in this week's Hobby News, as brought to you by CMO Games. I'm Angela, you're watching Hobby Night. Now let's get to this. With the new Space Marine Codex just around the corner, Games Workshop has recently announced the retirement of several different units of Firstborn Space Marines from the Codex, ones that you won't be able to use in the game going forward unless they have an analog equivalent in the new Codex, which some of these do and some of them don't. And as you can see from the picture on screen, there's quite a few units that are just disappearing from the Codex, and I'm kind of sad about some of them, especially you'll notice the Assault Squad on this list. As somebody who currently has a Blood Angels list and who fought a lot of Blood Angels when I was first getting into this game, Assault Squads are like iconic to Blood Angels to me, and so seeing them disappear from the Codex blows my mind. It is a little bit strange. It also makes me really sad to see Scouts disappearing. In my first army of Crimson Fists, I did actually run some Scouts in those armies, and so I have some, like, a soft spot in my heart for Scouts. I have a bunch of them in my collection, so seeing them and their sniper rifle equivalents just disappearing from the codexes really does make me sad. Now, some of these units you'll still be able to run in your game. If you happen to have an old bike squad and you still want to run them, don't worry, there's an equivalent. You can run them as Outriders and you'll still be able to use those models. And the same goes for a number of these units, but there are some that are not going to have analog equivalents in the new game, in the new Codex. And something like the Land Speeder is a little sad to see just completely disappearing and going into the Legends catalog, which you can of course still use in your home games, but it means you can't really bring them to tournaments. So if you happen to be using a Land Speeder previously in your list, well, I guess you're just SOL now because you can't do that. It's a Legends unit only. Speaking of those Legends units, we actually got an update on that as well, so let's talk about that next. This week's episode is brought to you by CMOGames.com. CMO Games is an online retailer specializing in Games Workshop products. So whether you're obsessed with Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, or my personal favorite, Blood Bowl, they will have you covered. They also carry a variety of other products like board games, Pokemon cards, as well as Magic the Gathering cards. So really, if you're a big nerd like I am, there's definitely going to be something for you there on their site. I also want to let you guys know that right now, they currently have available boxes of Leviathan. So if you happen to miss that, maybe you weren't able to get your hands on one from Games Workshop or your friendly local game store, well, they have some currently available online, and if you're in the continental US, you buy the box set, you will qualify for their free shipping deal. There is a link that I've left in the video description below, and if you use that, not only will you be supporting a privately owned business, but you'll also be supporting this channel, and I would really appreciate that. So definitely make sure to check out CMOGames.com today. Now let's go ahead and get back to the news. Because Games Workshop just announced a bunch of things they're going to Legends, they decided to update the Legends list for everybody, so there are now new downloadable rules for all of the Legends units that you might still have in your collection that you might want to use during your games at home for 10th edition Warhammer 40k. There is a lot of different units in this. Some of the factions got away with not having too many things go into Legends. A couple of the Space Marine factions like Blood Angels and Space Wolves and Ultramarines had like 1 or 2 units max going into this category, whereas the generalized Space Marine units had 22 different units going into it. And the same is true for Chaos Space Marines and some of the other larger collections of factions like Astra Militarum and Necrons and those kinds of things. They have a lot more units going into Legends, which is a little bit of a shame to see, but if you do want to run these units in your home games, this is how you can do so. I will just warn you that go into this maybe expecting the rules to not be especially well balanced. We've already seen how Games Workshop has been slightly misbalancing things in 10th edition that is going to be core to their game, so I can only imagine what they must be doing when it comes to the rules writing for anything that is being deposited into the Legends catalog. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at some new miniatures coming to us from Games Workshop, specifically for Cities of Sigmar. Ooh, I like the sort of rugged leather look of these guys a lot, actually. Show them to me again. Yes, and look at the doggos! There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and I like that. Because they're trackers, of course. Ooh. Oh, they look really good, actually. What was that thing? Was it a little bird? I must go back and look. I think it is. It's got like some sort of bird creature there. Okay. I am immediately loving these models. Let's take a look at them in a bit more detail because it's on the other side of this boy. Do you not have... Okay, we're going back into the video because I saw something on one of these doggos. Yes, loyal hounds, beautiful. What is that? What is that bird creature thing? I don't know what that is, but I am intrigued and I really want this set just because I think these dogs look stunning. I think it's really cool, actually, that Games Workshop is really expanding Cities of Sigmar. I've talked about this a little bit already when it came to the Squire being released or announced to come out with one of the knights, and the fact that they're adding in a variety of flavor to Cities of Sigmar and making it feel like the actual world is being lived in and people are existing and going about their lives within these mortal realms that they've now, shifted Age of Sigmar into. And this legitimately is the coolest thing that I've seen them come out with. Like, the entire everything that they're doing with Cities of Sigmar right now has me incredibly excited. I'm definitely going to be picking up the new starter set that is getting started with Cities of Sigmar because I want all of these cool new models. I really like these Wilder Core Hunters. They look amazing. I think the toned down armor and just doing the leathers was a really nice touch for these hunter characters and these trappers. And then the dog sculpts just look fantastic. They all look really fun to paint. I love these new models that they're coming out with. And again, it just continues to hype me up for the old world's return as well. Assassins are being added to Chaos Gate Daemonhunter. Let's go ahead and take a look at the announcement trailer.
We do not determine the guilty. We do not decide the punishment. We are merely the cold instrument of the Emperor's vengeance. There is
oh my gosh, I love that one.
Known to us. There is no form of terror.
I'm loving this.
Means. There is no enemy.
Okay, maybe he's actually my favorite. Nope, she's still my favorite. She's still my favorite.
That hovers over the throat of the traitor. We are the bullet that awaits the heretic's skull. We are the poison in the throat of the alien.
Yes! Oh my goodness. Okay, I admit I am really into this trailer with these assassins. So this is actually currently available for purchase as DLC for Chaos Gate Daemonhunters. Came out today. It's available on the Epic Store or Steam if you want to go ahead and grab it. And honestly, to me, it looks pretty gosh darn cool. I actually am having a hard time thinking of other games, digital games specifically for Games Workshop's products, where you actually get to use assassins within the game and you actually control them. I genuinely can't think of any other ones that have done that, at least not off the top of my head. So if you know of some, do let me know down in the comments below, but I think this is kind of unique. And I really think this is appropriate to be added to Chaos Gate as well. I think the assassins coming in to help the Grey Knights against this Nurgle threat is totally a perfect scenario, and they look absolutely amazing. I can't wait to give them a try. I might have to jump back into Chaos Gate myself. Last but not least this week, I wanted to give a little bit of a public service announcement and let you know that if you're buying things from Games Workshop or you're ordering Games Workshop products in the US in the near future, there could be some major delays in that product arriving to you in a timely manner. There are two reasons for this. First and foremost, Games Workshop has announced some delays with their warehouse and getting product out of it because they're in the process of upgrading their warehouses. So starting July 21st, which has already come and gone, you can expect some delays from getting products from them. In addition to that, In the US, UPS is on the verge of a strike, which is set to dramatically affect everybody's mail delivery because there's a lot of different companies that use UPS, and if they do end up going on strike, well, then you can expect even further delays, especially if you're in North America. This is unfortunate, but it does happen sometimes. When people aren't happy with their wages, strikes can sometimes happen because they want to get paid better. And I don't blame them for that. And if this does end up occurring and we have some major delays in trying to get our 10th edition products, well, I, for one, am going to try to remember that there are people trying to get paid better and maybe not complain about it too much. But it is something that might suck in the near future, so just be aware that it's going to be happening. That's been it for this week in hobby news. Huge thank you to CMO Games for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure that if you want to shop with them, you check out the link that I've left in the video description below. And before I head out, I do want to give one huge thank you as well to my patrons for making it so content like this can continue to happen. Without your guys' support, we just would not be doing this, so thank you very, very much. I have been Angela, and I hope you have a wonderful hobby night.